Listen, listen to my heart, listen to it sing, listen to my voice, it wants to tell you everything. There's so much to say, I don't know where to start, but if you want to know the love I'm feeling, listen to my heart. And words can't express how my heart's filled with happiness. Listen to it, listen to my heart, listen to it sing, listen to my voice, it wants to tell you everything. Listen to my song, listen to it soar. I've waited all my life for this one moment, I'm not waiting anymore. Listen to my heart as it cries for all the years that it was lonely. Listen to my heart as it smiles to know that now after so long I can finally sing my song. And you're here and you're listening, you're listening. Listen to my voice and it will tell you everything, all about the life that's just about to start. If you want to know how much I love you, listen to my heart, listen to my heart, listen to my heart. I'm David Friedman, and I'm playing here on October 22nd and October 29th, both Monday nights, both at 7 p.m. The function of the show is, as I say, I was asked to do this show. Phil Jeffrey Baum called me up and said, would you play here? And I thought, what do I have to say that's different for me? And I realized that at this time in my life, these songs have come to mean something very different than they did before. I would say when I wrote the diva songs, I wrote them because I wanted the divas to sing them and make me famous and make me rich. And now I really understand that these songs are voices of spirit, say, that come to me from somewhere, and I receive the information because I need to hear it, not because I know it. And so a lot of these big songs they were either written seemingly about someone else, like Listen to My Heart was written about a relationship in Laurie Beechman's life. We Can Be Kind, Nancy Lamott asked me to write because someone was nasty to her on the bus. Let's see, We Live on Borrowed Time. Laurie fought a long battle with cancer, and she asked me to write that song about her cancer, and I thought, well, what am I going to write about that? And this is what came up. And so these songs have come to me and enriched me, and then I've passed them on. And so I'm much more, at this stage in my life, connected to what the songs mean and to the experience of sharing them with an audience. And so I'm going to tell a lot of stories about the songs. I'm going to sing all the War Horses, but I'm going to sing some new ones. I've also just released 2 CDs with 30 songs that I'm singing of my own. And so a lot of those will be on it. And it'll be to share these songs with people in a very personal way.
What was Help Is On the Way about?
Help Is On the Way. Nancy Lamott called me from the road and said, I'm getting tired of my closing number. Could you write me something that would give people help and solace and make them leave the theater with joy? And so what I did was each line I thought about a friend and the problem they were in and what they would need to hear. And then I wrote that line, and then I wrote the next line. So it just is addressed to just about everyone I knew. So, and it turned out that it was a blessing that she sang it at the Easter Bonnet competition, and then it's become the theme song for the Easter Bonnet competition. But that's one. When Nancy died, I was devastated, and I put on all her CDs on shuffle to see what she would play. And the first song she sang was Accentuate the Positive. And the second song she sang was Help Is On The Way. And I burst into tears and I thought, help isn't on the way. I'm never going to be happy about this again. This is terrible. And then she sang Help Is On The Way again. And now on shuffle, there's not much chance of that happening. So I thought, okay, Nancy, I'll hear you. So that was the first song I wrote for Nancy, so it's very special. That was the first. We had just finished her first album, and I wrote the song for her, and she performed it at Steve McGraw's at the time. And Nancy McGraw said, oh, I can't wait to hear that on the album. And I said, it's not on the album. And she said, you have to put it on. So we opened the album up and put that song on. So it wasn't planned. So yes, that was the first song I wrote for Nancy.
Now, you've also written music for a new musical coming to Broadway, Scandalous.
Scandalous, yes.
Can you tell us a little bit about that?
Oh, I'm having such a ball with that. Kathy Lee wrote the book and lyrics, and David Pomerantz and I actually wrote the score together. We wrote songs individually. Some of them are mixtures of the two. And it's a story of Amy Semple McPherson, who was a very, very world-famous evangelist and a very controversial figure. People sort of think she was like a fundamentalist Christian. She actually wasn't. She was a Pentecostal who did hands-on healings and all sorts of things that the fundamentalists actually thought were terrible and sacrilegious. She might be like equivalent to the unity of today. And this is about a life that was incredibly two-sided. She really helped people. She was a woman of great faith, and yet she was like a total mess. And so it's sort of about how a person can be both things, and about her rise to fame, and then how fame got to her, and how she redeemed herself and ended up helping an awful lot of people. Carolee Carmello is beyond belief. I have never seen a performance like this in my life. And the show is beautiful. We're just really, we did it in Seattle. It was very instructive. We've done a ton of work on it since then. And I'm really enjoying it, and I hope the public comes and really enjoys it. It's not a religious show at all. It's not about religion. It's like Funny Girl. It's about a star.
You write for women, and you seem to understand their voices and where their best registers lay and how to make a song soar so that they can soar. How do you come about doing that?
Well, you know, I'll tell you, I've worked with some wonderful women. I worked with Laurie Beachman, I worked with Alex Corey, I worked with Nancy Lamont, and I learned what these voices were, and I love these voices. But I have to say that these women also contribute to these things. I know where the money is in their voice, but I remember when I wrote Listen to My Heart, it went, and you're here, and you're listening, listen to my heart, listen to it. And Laurie said, could you give me like a something that goes up like that? So she asked me for that, and that's how they came out. Nancy Lamont, at just in time for Christmas, said, can you give me a big note? And, you know, so when you work with people like that, who really are artists, who care about their work, who understand their work, and who understand yours, they really, it's quite simple to find the money and do it. And so I said, I write on people. I write songs. I put myself in people's circumstances, and I write as though I were in those circumstances. And that's the way I write.
You also teach a class on Thursdays.
Tuesdays.
Tuesdays. Can you talk a little bit about that?
Well, I have a whole other life as a metaphysician. I wrote a book called The Thought Exchange, Overcoming Our Resistance to Living a Sensational Life. And I work with people on, you know, there's so much in the New Thought movement about positive thoughts, and when you think positively, your life is positive. But I work on how come we don't know this and we don't seem to be able to do it. And I sort of found the missing piece. And so I wrote this book that's been very successful. I teach all over the world, and I apply these principles to singing on Tuesday nights. It's called Your Inner Voice, and it's about that what you're thinking is what's coming out of your mouth. So when we hear something, we work on what are you thinking that's making your voice tight? What are you thinking that's making you not connect? What are you thinking that makes you think that because you're nervous you can't do something? And it's very much about being in our bodies and feeling our sensations. And you know, I never go on stage when I'm not a nervous wreck. but I don't view it as a nervous wreck. I view it as the sensations that my body's doing. They have no meaning. And so this class, people come in and they work on all this stuff. It's done in my, I live in Connecticut, but we have an apartment in New York, and I do it in the apartment. And I love it. I just love working with people and breaking them through things that they've had trouble breaking through, whether it's a high note or acting or singing or whatever.
Do you have a website that people could get to you to take that class?
Yes, there are a couple of websites. If they go to MIDDER, which is the name of the record company, MIDDER music.com, middermusic.com, or thethoughtexchange.com. Either one of those will get you there.